Good evening and welcome to our second edition of UBC News Tonight on this 8th day of February 2024. Now, before we delve into tonight's news bulletin, let's first take a look at the top stories tonight. In our top stories this evening, Museveni discusses regional peace with Uhuru as M23 and DRC forces clash again. UHRC set for India training tour and preparations for the cricket. Good evening once again. I'm Reen Masika Kazimoto. President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has met a former president of the Republic of Kenya, His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta, the facilitator of the East African Community-led Nairobi peace process in the DRC. The two discussed regional mandate alongside recent developments in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo. Shortly after the meeting last evening, the M23 rebels and the DRC government forces resumed clashes in which a reasonable number of people were killed, many sustained injuries, and hundreds of innocent civilians fled Eastern DRC. As President Museveni met the facilitator of the East African Community-led Nairobi peace process in the DRC, His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta, fleeing Congolese had gathered at a busy road while carrying their belongings as they fled the Masisi territory in the Democratic Republic of Congo, following the clashes between the M23 rebels and the DRC government forces at a road near Sake on Monday. The conflict between the M23 rebels and DRC government forces is intensifying in the eastern DRC's Masisi territory, according to reports after days of unrest that left dozens injured. The tensions have displaced many villages and overwhelmed health centers, according to the humanitarian sources. The First Lady and the Minister of Education and Sports, Mrs. Janet Museveni, has welcomed the Institute for Women's Health Protego programs, which aims to strengthen life and families in like-minded countries to defend their values, protect the people and secure their future. The Protego program was designed by the Institute for Women's Health to help nations fulfill the objectives of the Geneva Consensus Declaration signed in October 2020 by a coalition of countries, affirming their dedication to the protection of the family as the natural and a fundamental unit of society. According to the IWH's president, the Women's Optimal Health Framework, which seeks to enhance women's health across their lifespan in every nation and walk of life, is one of the 4 components of the Institute of Women's Health Protego program. Other parts are to do with the education of parents to empower them talk to their children on difficult subjects like sex education, strengthening laws, policies and protections for women and families, and building diplomatic skills to limit the space for ideologies considered inconsistent, intrusive or harmful to the nation. The First Lady described the Protego program as a blessing and good news for a country like Uganda that is being intimidated because of their values. She applauded the team for forming such groups and organizations that can come to Uganda and give us information and show that we are not alone in the world, but there are others that are like-minded who still hold the same values and are walking by them. She also addressed the need for parental involvement in the guiding of their children and felt that the Protego Parent Guide was a helpful resource for parents. The Protego Education Parent Guide supports parents as primary educators of their children to share values, traditions, and their faith regarding character, relationships, reproduction, and families. The team from the US is in the country for the global launch of the Women's Optimal Health Framework, which Uganda is hosting. on Friday, the 9th of February 2024 at State House in Entebbe. Now, in more news, the Uganda Human Rights Commission is concerned about the living and working conditions of the Uganda police personnel. In a report titled "Squeezing Water Out of a Stone," the Uganda Human Rights Commission reveals that police personnel deliver services under a harsh working and living environment, which Mariam Wangadia, the chairperson of the Uganda Human Rights Commission, presented a number of challenges captured in the report, including unfairness in deployments and transfers and promotions in the institution, which she says have fueled human rights abuse by police officers.
Squeezing water out of a stone is the newly released research report by the Uganda Human Rights Commission, pinning Uganda Police Force on human rights abuse. Mariam Wangadia, the chairperson of the Uganda Human Rights Commission, presented the report to the Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Thomas Tayebwa, which findings were not far from explaining the rhetorical situation in the Uganda Police Force.
Right Honourable Speaker, the findings and their human rights implications were profoundly eye-opening.
In 2019, the Commission, in collaboration with the Uganda Police Force, initiated a research about the linkage of the living and the working conditions of police personnel and the human rights abuse in Uganda. The findings capture several challenges, including the poor accommodation, transportation and salaries among staff at the Uganda Police Force.
They reside in condemned structures and unipods unfit for human habitation, which implies that police personnel are giving a lot more than they are receiving. And in some instances, it is amazing how, in their given conditions, they can still manage to provide any service.
Wangadia is confident that the challenges trigger the increasing appetite for human rights violation by a section of individual police officers.
This salary disparity causes challenges in effecting command and order. It fuels indiscipline and lack of respect for commanders, since they are better paid subordinates, disparage them out of a superiority complex, ultimately leading to loss of morale and poor performance.
The report further attributes unfairness in promotions, deployments and transfers in the Uganda Police Force.
In spite of all the findings, most personnel have a positive attitude to their work, with 78% of them saying they are proud to serve their country as police personnel.
The Deputy Speaker, Thomas Tayebwa, chaired with the Commission the budget constraints which affects the police institution, but hailed the officers for bracing the environment to provide service to the nation.
And also in some cases, I want to appreciate our population, which is willing. For example, I know in my area, people have been contributing funds to build police stations. Now, that means the value we put onto this institution is a very, very great value. So we are going to go and scrutinize deeply all these. The Commission will be, I'm very sure you will come in and explain further. You highlight most of these things in the committee so that we can give due justice to the report.
However, speaking at the public release of the report, Richard Ediego, the Director of Logistics and Engineering at the Uganda Police Force, revealed that about 69,000 housing units are in the offing to bridge the gap brought about by poor accommodation in the force.
So we are calling upon people who are capable of building, engineering, procuring, constructing, and then financing the project. And then they give us a grace period within which we shall be constructing, and later on the government starts paying back the loan in a period of about 10 years.
Daniel Mugoya, Gloria Gwitabinji, UBC News.
Deputy Speaker of Parliament Thomas Tayebwa has emphasized the importance of understanding the root causes of violent extremism and terrorism. Tayebwa made the remarks while meeting regional legislators from the East and Horn of Africa in Entebbe in a crucial meeting aimed at tackling the pressing issue of violent extremism and terrorism in the region.
The three-day conference has drawn together esteemed delegates to engage in discussions focusing on the challenges posed by violent extremism. The Deputy Speaker, Thomas Tayebwa, underscored the need for comprehensive strategies that address the diverse challenges faced by communities affected by violent extremism.
These conflicts, the people who are impacted most are women and children. They are women and children. Even men, in case of trouble, they abandon, and some of them are, of course, kidnapped and taken into the conflict. But some of them say, no, we've gone here to go and fend for the families. But the world we are in, and I've seen it from an example of my area, women are the ones holding the world together.
The three-day conference has drawn together esteemed delegates to engage in discussions focusing on the challenges posed by violent extremism. The Deputy Speaker, Thomas Tayebwa, underscored the need for comprehensive strategies that address the diverse challenges faced by communities affected by violent extremism.
Wars push us back badly. I really feel bad when I watch the horrific pictures, if I can remain on the African continent, coming out of Khartoum. I just ask myself, whom are these two colleagues? Whom are they working for? Do you want to say you're working for your people? Really? You have destroyed one of the most promising cities and countries?
Dr. Julius Chivuna, the head of the Peace and Security Ministry of Finance, highlighted the importance of legislative action in addressing the complex factors fueling violent extremism.
The IGAD region, known for its diversity, cultural richness, and significant economic potential, has unfortunately been plagued by the recent rise in violent extremism in recent times.
Dr. Mathanjiri emphasized the need for gender-sensitive approaches in pressing issues of violence extremism legislation, acknowledging the distinct impact of extremism on men, women, boys, and girls.
That when we talk of gender-sensitive legislations, that we are saying that we need to have in mind there are different needs of both men and women, young boys, young girls. A lot of emphasis has been made as women and children being victims. True. More often than not, they are most affected.
Delegates from Djibouti, Ethiopia, Kenya, Rwanda, Somalia, Sudan, South Sudan, Tanzania, and Uganda are participating in the meeting, with each country represented by 3 legislators. Sudat Kaye and Robert Waiter, UBC News.
The Uganda Medical and Dental Practitioners Council has proposed the implementation of a unified national university and institutional examination conducted by the Medical Examination Board at the early, mid and end stages of medical programs. Professor Joel Okulo, the chairperson of the council, presented his recommendation during a session with the Education Review Commission in Nakawa, emphasizing the integral role of the examinations in the daily lives of medical practitioners.
Practitioners Council, responsible for overseeing medical schools in Uganda and East African region, appeared before the Education Review Commission to share insights into medical practitioner training and assess whether practicing doctors meet the required standards. The current system of joint inspection and accreditation in health professional institutions and programs was criticized citing a court ruling allowing the internship registration of individuals from an inadequately qualified private university.
But we talked about a tribunal whereby we say we should have these matters resolved by people who know the ethics, the technical, what is required of a doctor, and what would be the implications of deploying somebody just because the court has ruled and yet they are actually not qualified.
The council identified a deficiency in the admission criteria for health professional training institutions, emphasizing the need for a structured pre-admission interview to assess candidates' attitudes and conduct. Regarding the recommendation for a national university or institution examination for all medical graduates, a commissioner raised concerns about its justification, given the current emphasis on continuous assessment in education.
Competence-based learning, if we examine students at the end and probably at the end of the year, and especially medical students, which is almost, I don't know what percentage practical in the training, what would be the justification for these examinations? And if so, which kind of examinations?
Not many exams. Can I tell you that every patient that we see is an exam? So nobody should be scared of exams. Nobody should be able to say you're giving us too many exams, because every patient that you see is an exam in itself.
Yeah.
The council pointed out that gaps in health practices and doubts about standards have diminished the reputation of medical doctors. One commissioner questioned about the origin of doctors' training.
You are saying we are going to ask. Very soon we shall be asking when you go to a doctor, where you train. We are already asking. It's not for the future, it's current, present. When you go to a doctor now, you ask and say, where did you train? I was talking to Maxwell when we went out. Because it is scary to go to a doctor who is not qualified to be a doctor.
A commissioner suggested that the council focus on improving training frameworks and urged scientists to devise methods for producing locally made scientific inputs rather than relying on imports.
Inputs are important. Is it possible to tilt the curriculum or possibly create a completely new one so that the medical scientists can help us create some of those products, because we are consuming everything is important.
The council recommended that the government offer scholarships in critical areas with severe shortages such as oncology, neurosurgery and heart surgery, and emphasized the importance of retaining locally trained specialists. I'm Nafka Farida and Sana Anet in Kampala.
Natasha Museveni Karujire, representing the First Lady Janet Kataha Museveni, visited Uweso Masulita Children's Home to inaugurate 2 dormitories, a dining hall and a guest house. These structures were renovated by Tororo Cement Limited, a dedicated partner of Uweso, and we have the details.
Children in Uweso will sleep hungry.
The recent Naman G77 plus China summit triggered an influx of street children into children's homes, including Uweso Masulita home, exacerbating an already challenging situation. The home, initially designed for 150 children, now accommodates over 700 children, putting a strain on resources meant for 150 children with a population aged between 18 years to 2 weeks old babies.
We had planned for a month, basically for the 200, but then all the food, everything that we had on ground was consumed in less than 1.5 days because the number was quite overwhelming. And since then we had been challenged with the issues of bedding. We did not have enough beddings, issues to do with the medication. Some of them came with different illness from the streets. And then the issues to do with food. We are happy to report that KCCA was able to support us with the food that will take us up to end of January. Currently, we have over 711 here on ground, including 9 mothers, and we have about 556 girls and then over 160 boys here on ground.
We have submitted our budget framework paper. The challenge of street children, unfortunately, is unfunded as of now, but I hope this will help make a stronger point that we must finance this effort. There is no way you are going to get these children from the streets. There is no way you are going to maintain them here as is the case. There is no way you are going to reintegrate them without government committing resources.
A fundraising dinner was organized, raising over 1 billion to support some of these homes. Oweso, established in 1989 by the First Lady of Uganda, Janet Kataha Museveni, aimed to provide a home for the homeless.
God spoke to Mama and told her that I'm going to give you victory. That is when she was still in exile. Uganda, you're going to come back to Uganda, but when you come, remember to take care of my children, orphans and widows and youth.
Every single district almost in the country has a footprint of Oweso. And what do we do in those districts? We go in and identify families, vulnerable families. We identify children who are either HIV positive or they don't go to school, and these children are put into programs. So this family strengthening program, as I said earlier, Masulita is just one of the few. Because Masulita initially raised children actually who were orphans, who had been, after the war, these children had been abandoned. They were brought into this village, looked after. Many of them are big boys. We have some who are doctors, we have some two who are engineers, we have the program head at US, so they grew up here from the war. Now that has been overtaken by events. We don't have the wars anymore. So the next problem we have, because programs, you respond according to the situation. We have a rehabilitation program. That rehabilitation program divides the children or segments the children according to the age. Some of them are taken to primary to study, others are taken for vocational skilling. Once we do that and the children are ready, maybe they've learned how to lay bricks or they can tailor or they can construct, we take them back to Karamoja and try to fit them into the community. So what we are now focusing on is developing a family strengthening program back in Karamoja, so that when these children are taken back home, they can actually settle and stay without coming back to the street.
Manish Farsani of Tororo Cement praised the First Lady Kataha Museveni for her openness in allowing extensive help, emphasizing the importance of giving back.
Today, why and on which capacity I stand here is because of my uncle, Hasmukh Kanji Patel, the owner and the chairman of Tororo Cement and Mombasa Cement. I'm his nephew, he's my uncle, he's the chairman, and it is his heart and his force that runs all this. We still have a long way to go. This is just the first phase. My contractor is there. He was happy that he's going to leave in 2 weeks from now. So now he's saying, boss, I'm going to look for a house nearby here. So I've given him extra work to finish. Even after that is going to finish, we shall meet again and see what we can add.
Tasha Museveni, part of the Liberation Generation, initially fundraised 1 billion for the home and represented the First Lady in commissioning the facilities.
From different individuals and companies and corporations, and with the support of the President and the First Lady. And so we're here to commission some of these buildings. Today's handover of the 2 dormitories, it's actually more than 2 dormitories, that have been rebuilt is just another testimony of God's faithfulness and His remembrance of those who do His work.
Oweso's mission aligns with a quote by First Lady Kataha Museveni: investing in children is the greatest investment on earth, striving to raise responsible citizens regardless of their troubling backgrounds. The commissioning of these renovated facilities at Oweso Masulita Children's Home marks a step towards addressing the challenges faced by homeless children, with continued effort needed to ensure their well-being and future as responsible citizens. Sharon Chomjisha, UBC News.
Fred!
Osmosis.
Freddy! Fred Dollar, my boss, CEO Inojo, the general of generals, the conqueror of conquerors, the first and the final, the sky above the skies, the promised land, the terms and the conditions, the international king crocodile, the source of the Nile.
I don't have money today.
Just take a polite loan of 200k to stock my shop. The signs and symptoms of success. The bank commander, not the bank teller.
Why hassle for a loan when you've got MTN Momo? We're sorting. Use the Momo app or dial *165*5# for all quick loans. Choose from the different loan options from our partners and get one that works for you. Together, we're unstoppable.
Metu Bus Industries, Namamve, the manufacturers of buses for transporters, schools, tour operators, and special purpose vans and any customized vehicle. Metu Bus Industries offers a range of buses known for safety, comfort, and reliability. Depending on your needs, a bus can simply be a point A to point B people mover with just seats, or a special design that includes power outlet, Wi-Fi, television, refreshment center, and any other specification. Buy your buses from Metu and support industrialization of Uganda. Contact us on 0788 118586 or 0782 030303. Email us metuafricabus@gmail.com. Visit our website www.metubusafrica.com.
The government of Uganda and the Uganda Bureau of Statistics is calling upon all stakeholders such as the chief administrative officers, city mayors, resident city commissioners, city clerks, city and division councillors, wards and LC chairpersons, as well as the residents and business communities to cooperate with the UBOS field teams as we embark on advanced preparations to conduct the National Population and Housing Census on the 10th of May 2024. The census will be a 10-day exercise to obtain statistical data and information that will be used for planning and policy formulation, including information on 1. How many we are, 2. Where we are, 3. How we are living, 4. What we own, and 5. Where we access services from. The Uganda Bureau of Statistics has now started listing of households and mapping in the 11 cities of Arua, Fort Portal, Gulu, Hoima, Jinja, Lira, Mbale, Masaka, Mbarara, Soroti, and in the Greater Kampala comprising of Kampala, Wakiso, and Mukono districts. For more information, please call 0755 342 128 or 0773 342 128. This message is brought to you by the Executive Director and Census Commissioner, Uganda Bureau of Statistics. Census 2024. It matters to be counted.
Thank you. Hello, Eric. Come and see my new home.
Are you looking for the best quality paint for your dream home? Be part of the new revolution with our Global Paint Silk Vinyl that gives you beautiful, shining interior walls, as WeatherCoat gives you never fading and strongly guarded walls against bad weather conditions. Located along Namamve Industrial Park, Global Paints, a reliable product.
Ebiseera by'okuzaayo abaana mu masomero tebiteekwa kukaluubiriza n'akatono. Eno kusimba nnyiriri mpanvu, kano kalipagano ka bidduka. Simanyi kuzunga na banka siripisi? Kati osobola okusasula school fees z'omwana wo ate n'okola n'ebirala ntoko ku ssimu ye ey'omu ngalo. Ekikola kyangu nnyo. Nyiga bunyizi *185*8 ogoberera ebikulagiriddwa oba okozese app ya MTN Momo. Ate kati okola ki olwaleero? MTN Mobile Money Uganda Limited erungamizibwa banka enkulu eya Uganda.
Welcome back from that break, and we're glad that you're still with us here on UBC News Tonight. I'm Lorene Masika Kazimoto. Now, in more news this evening, the judicial officials have been encouraged to prioritize law-abiding decisions over biased judgments in the execution of their duties. This crucial message was delivered by the Speaker of Parliament, Anita Among, during the closing ceremony of the 25th Annual Judges Conference in Kampala.
To take this singular honor to declare the 25th Annual Judges Conference closed.
The 4th Annual Judges Conference, gathering judges and justices from High Court, Appellant Court and the Apex Court, has successfully concluded. The conference held another theme, a people-centered approach to justice, was officially closed by the Speaker of Parliament, Anita Among. In her closing remarks, Speaker Among recognized the judiciary's crucial role in ensuring justice for all and urged them to remain focused on incorporating the perspectives of the people in their decisions.
When you're making whatever rulings that you're making, put people at the center of it. Look at what is there outside. What do people think about this judgment? And where you feel you always need to consult an institution, where you feel you're not comfortable, you're not sure of it, of what it is, we are available for consultation.
Speaker Among further advised the judicial officials to stay clear of bias in their decisions and emphasized the importance of promoting norms, culture and the tradition of the country.
The institution that you lead protects the cultures, the norms, the morals, the traditions, the interests and the aspirations of Ugandans and the people of Uganda.
On the behalf of Parliament, Speaker Among also pledged support towards the judiciary.
The courts that you're leading, Chief Justice, is a house of records. How we wish that the judicial officers should make decisions based on the law. We don't expect the judicial officers to make decisions based on personal feelings and opinions.
Chief Justice Alphonse Owinyido commended judges and justices for their full attendance at the conference, which covered various topics. Dola emphasized optimism that the resolutions from the conference would contribute to enhancing justice for Ugandans.
I want to assure my sister, the Right Honourable Speaker, for us in the judiciary, and for as long as the judiciary is under my charge, I'll continue to relate with the other two arms of the leadership of the other two arms of government, but will vehemently, zealously, and jealously defend the independence of the judiciary. We make for a better country if the three heads of arms of government speak to one another without losing the independence which the Constitution clearly states. We do disservice to the country if the three arms of government fight useless wars, or any war at all.
The closing ceremony of the conference was attended by the Deputy Chief Justice Richard Buteera, Principal Judge Dr. Flavian Zaija, Emeritus Justices and Judges, among others, Deborah Namamonde, Nantongo Rebecca, UBC News.
The Secretary General of the Uganda Muslim Supreme Council, Haji Abbas Sechanzi, has called on stakeholders in Islamic education to unite for the standardization and improvement of Islamic education. Sechanzi made these remarks while officiating at the release of the 2023 Idad and Thanawi results.
Idad and Thanawi Examination Board of Uganda, a body under the Uganda Muslim Supreme Council, has officially released the results of its 2023 examinations. A total of 2,508 students registered for these exams, representing an increase compared to previous years. Dr. Ziad Lubanga, the Executive Secretary of ITEBU, expressed appreciation for the efforts of the board and schools in teaching in Islam. Haji Abbas Sechanze, the Secretary General of the Uganda Muslim Supreme Council, commended the hard work put into teaching Islam and emphasized the importance of unity among stakeholders to enhance Islamic education.
I want to appeal to all of you, those who have learned, those who are elites, make use of your council, make use of your headquarters, make use of your offices. If you shun the council, you're doing a disservice. Because those of us who are there might not be the very best, and the best might remain out there, and they fail to come. So please, join the council structures, join the council activities. It is for our benefit as all of us.
Juma Bakit Chuchu, Secretary for Education, Uganda Muslim Supreme Council, called for the registration of Islamic schools to address potential challenges.
We want to teach our children to know the world and also to know the owner of this world, and that is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
The best performing students, Ryan Amir Kajawa and Basirika Hosna, both from Ibn Hamis Islamic Secondary School, attributed their success to hard work and professional teaching.
Kwebaza enkola ya e-learning yetubadde tusomerako ku Ibn Hamis Islamic Secondary School.
Okwebaza abasomesa baffe babadde abalungi abatuyambyeko.
In the recently released Idad and Thanawi exams, a commendable 94.2% of students passed, while 5.30% unfortunately did not meet the required standards. Shaidat Nasakun, Lydia Chomkama, UBC News.
58 international universities are participating in the University Study Abroad Fair in Kampala. Speaking to UBC TV at the opening of the fair at Kaboja International School, Rahim Kassam, the head of operations at University Education, said the fair is aimed at providing credible information about universities abroad to the public. The University Study Abroad Fair runs for the second day on Friday at Golf Course Hotel in Kampala, aimed at helping students and parents discover global opportunities abroad.
Such as this, where we bring universities from across the world, from countries like the UK, Australia, Canada, Ireland, and many, many more. And we bring them to countries like Uganda and here in Kampala, where we're hosting an event today. And we ask these universities to exhibit their products for the student who might be interested to apply to these universities. Why we do this and why we feel it's important is because nowadays there is so much information out there. There is a lot of information available on the internet about which universities are offering what products and what might be right for you and what might not be right for you. But the events like today assist students, and we assist students like that in being able to identify, based on your preferences, what might be the right university for you, what might be the right course for you, depending on your individual preferences, because every student is different. So it might be that you prefer a country that has warmer weather, it might be that you prefer a course which is more in line with your career goals. And that is why events like today are very, very important, so you can understand directly from the university what courses are available, what costs there are, and what meets your pocket and your preferences, and enables you to go and study and pursue a career that is right for you.
BBC News Tonight takes a very short break, but we return with more stories after these messages. Don't move an inch.
Nyati Motion Pictures brings you Tuko Pamoja, Bunyoro Kitara segment. Come and learn about the glorious Kitara Empire.
Bunyoro would have simply created an East African community that we are looking for today.
The rulers of Bunyoro are actually Luos.
When the Bachwez weekend Lana war disappeared, that we see the emergence of all these other kingdoms that were under Bunyoro Kingdom. That's Buganda, Bunyoro, Karagwe, Rwanda, Burundi, Nkore.
we are similar people.
And genetically, we are even the same people.
Use that word pamoja.
Premiering on 3rd February 2024 at the National Theatre from 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. To get a ticket, call 0778 787 660. Tuko Pamoja? Proudly supported by UBC, the National Theatre, Ndere Center, Tam Cinemax, Makerere University, and the Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development. Tuko Pamoja.
In the production process of Aquafina, we expertly filter every drop, providing clear and perfect tasting water to help you keep hydrated with the added benefit of minerals. Aquafina is bottled by Pepsi Cola International in Uganda and is available at only 1,000 shillings. How to use the EIPP. Welcome to the Electronic Investors and Protection Portal, your guide to seamless investment processes in Uganda. Step 1. Navigate the portal. Start by searching Protection statehouseinvest.go.ug. On Google, use the menu bar for various tasks. Step 2. Submitting a complaint. To lodge a complaint, click Report. Fill out the form, submit and note your reference number. Step 3. Making an inquiry. For inquiries, select Inquiry. Complete the form, submit and record your reference number. Step 4. Whistleblowing. To report anonymously, choose Whistleblow, fill the form and submit. Step 5. Accessing FAQs. Find the answers to the common questions under the FAQs link. Step 6. Seeking information. For investment cycle guidance, hover over Resources, click Resources Center and explore. Step 7. Exploring services. Hover over Services for stakeholder offerings like business registration. Step 8. Tracking progress. To track submissions, click Report, select Track Inquiry or Complaint. Enter your reference number and check your email for updates. Need more help? Call +256 326 100 630 or email info@statehouseinvest.go.ug.
The energy of this land comes to life in dreams and memories. It lights up in these nights and leads us to new horizons. It pushes us to go further and see bigger. The energy of this land comes from here. It comes from Africa, and it vibrates in each of us.
Empowered by Africa.
Oryx Lubricants, powered by Africa.
Welcome back from that break, and now into the business scene. Bank of Africa has signed a $300 million guarantee fund with the International Finance Corporation, IFC, speaking at the official opening of its doors to a brand new state-of-the-art head office. Amine Bobid, Bank of Africa Group CEO, said the fund is to cover all the loans that it gives to the small and medium enterprises. The International Finance Corporation is a member of the World Bank Group and is the largest global development institution focused exclusively on the private sector in developing countries. We have more.
IFC is a member of the World Bank Group and is the largest global development institution, focusing exclusively on the private sector in developing countries. The managing director of Bank of Africa Uganda expressed his excitement about the new head office, saying it strategically signifies the company's alignment with the bank's vision for the future. He said it is making a milestone in the bank's journey and its commitment to innovation, efficiency and client centricity.
Our new head office symbolizes not just a physical space, but a commitment to the future, a continued growth, and most importantly to the clients and the communities that we serve.
At the launch ceremony, key stakeholders highlighted the bank's commitment to innovation, community engagement and environmental responsibility. Established in 1985 as a small indigenous deposit-taking private company, Bank of Africa Uganda Limited has evolved over the years, culminating in its current status as a leading player in the country's banking sector. With a rich history of growth and transformation, the bank has expanded its footprint, now operating with 32 branches across Uganda and serving a diverse clientele encompassing corporate, small and medium enterprises and retail segments. Bank of Africa Group CEO emphasized the client-centric design of the new head office. In another development, Bank of Africa has signed a $300 million guarantee fund with the International Finance Corporation. Speaking at the officially opened new state-of-the-art head office, Bank of Africa CEO, the fund will cover all the small and medium enterprise acquired loans.
But also to become an important international platform for operators in Uganda and for foreign investors that wants to come to invest in Uganda.
The Registration Services Bureau has conducted a training on intellectual property, particularly collective management societies. The training was meant to bring together players in the collective management realm and educate them on governance and protection of their works.
Collective management societies comprise of organizations that bring together people from the same space to be collectively managed. It is therefore mandatory for these societies to be formally registered for recognition by Uganda Registration Services Bureau.
And those that have managers that are aware of these principles, they have made the money. But if you're just going to be the artist, you be your own manager, you be your legal advisor, you be your own consumer, you are going to collapse. Put in place corporate governance systems. You know your brand, that you're starting with this brand as an artist, as a movie, as a producer. Get your structure, get a board in place, get somebody to handle the commercial aspect, the business aspects of your business. That is why, how it will break that traditional culture of thinking that you put out work there and God will give you the money. Yes, it can be what? I believe in spiritual blessings, but you have to act. You have to act. There must be an act that leads to you getting the income streams from your work.
According to URSB's legal department, operating under a collective management society without proper registration is a punishable offence under the Copyrights and Neighbouring Rights Act of 2006, Section 57.
Reforming the Copyright Neighbouring Rights Act, Registrar General mentioned that we have had discussions with you. You've given us your feedback. We've contented. Yes, we fought over this and this. There have been some heated debates here and there, but we are still friends. We've been working with WIPO to see that we develop, we come up, we hope we shall be supported. WIPO will give us, we hope there are also best practices. We shall come up with a training manual to train the body, and I say the body of copyright inspectors, and it's a body because these are constant people, because with copyright you get better with time. You get better with time. It's not that you come today and you know the subject and you start enforcing it the next day. You get better with time.
Actors in the creative world worry if there is any plan of investment in the copyrights monitoring to ensure that they receive their deserved compensation.
The issues are quite imminent or many. You see, it's actually, we've been in this struggle for over 10 years of trying to enlighten the people who govern us as a nation, the government, the people who consume our art, that they have to pay for it. So it's a culture that is not in Africa, and it's worse in Uganda. Everyone wants to use your work for free. So it's been a journey that we've been going through, and that is reaching somewhere, because there's quite a lot to be tackled that hasn't yet been tackled.
According to the Bureau, all media platforms are required to pay for the content consumed from the performing artists. Mariana Wari and Juman Samba for UBC.
More into the business scene, the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Trade and Industries and Cooperatives, Geraldine Sali, has urged Ugandans to embrace products manufactured in Uganda to promote Uganda's Buy Uganda, Build Uganda policy. She said this during her maiden tour at Metu Bus Industries assembling plant in Namamve, and promised government support for the proprietor of Metu Bus Industries.
We are importing so many vehicles from Japan into Uganda. So these people are making a lot of money checking quality that is coming in from Japan into Uganda. And what is making it lucrative? Because we are importing too many motor vehicles. Now, if you think about import substitution, and we want to bring the motorization of vehicles into Ugandan production, I thought I would pay a visit to one of the companies that is doing a good job and is undersold, because they have produced buses for different government institutions so far, but it's not enough. They have capacity to produce up to 50 units of buses a month.
There are a few things we talked with the PS. Of course, we would wish to have more orders from government. For her being the PS for trade and industry, I think she would help us in that line. But secondly, there are the usual things: cost of production, the cost of power, the unreliable power. We have those problems. But when we call on government officials, they help us. When we call on Umeme, they will come and intervene. When we call on Minister of Trade and Industry, they will come and help.
And into the world of sports, ahead of the Africa Games and the 2024 T20 Women's World Cup Global Qualifiers, Uganda's women's senior cricket team, the Victoria Pearls, is gearing up for a training camp in India. The team aims to hone their skills by testing themselves against seasoned players.
Having been in camp for over a month, the team has diligently addressed the gaps identified during the regional qualifiers and focused on overall improvement in their gameplay.
We have tried to work on now fitness. This is the second time they're doing a fitness test, which has been much better. The results are better than the first fitness test we had in January. We're working on power hitting now. We're trying to make sure we capitalize a lot on the power play. Some tactics of the game, of course, they're still learning a lot about the game. The game is changing, so we need to consolidate every tactic that is out there and how the cricket is changing so that we have better plans.
In a few days, the Victoria Pearls will embark on their journey to India, where they will face challenges from experienced players, further enhancing their skill and teamwork.
What I'm looking forward is, I'm really looking forward to see that we have improved, because we are working right now. So during those tournaments, I want to see that improvement. We need to activate that improvement come those tournaments, because our batting, we've kind of changed some things here and there. So we are going to implement and see that is it working for us as a team or it's not working, so that we can come back and use the least time we shall have between those tournaments and the qualifiers come April.
The team secured a spot in the 2024 T20 Women's World Cup Global Qualifiers by defeating Tanzania in the regional qualifiers held in Uganda last December. The upcoming global qualifiers are scheduled to take place in Dubai in April 2024. The ultimate goal is to secure a spot in the 2024 Women's T20 World Cup in Bangladesh, scheduled for September and October. Grace Joyce Kemigisa, UBC News.
Well, that wraps it up here in UBC News tonight. Thank you so much for your company. Now, on behalf of the team working tirelessly behind the scene and myself, we do wish you a good night. But for now, we'll leave you with Nanteza Juliet, who's here to give us our weather forecast for tomorrow. From me, good night. Juliet.
From Uganda National Meteorological Authority, my name is Juliet Nanteza. Some areas around the lake today evening received some scattered showers, while other areas had sunny intervals throughout. When we take a look at the satellite imagery today, it shows that we still have some scattered showers along Lake Victoria Basin and the southern part of our country, and then some areas in the western stretch, and this is due to the local effects that is from Lake Victoria and Choga and some mountains in different areas. As we prepare for your Friday, in the morning central, we expect areas around the lake to have scattered showers, while other areas we expect sunny intervals. For the east, west, and then the north, we expect sunny intervals throughout. Later on in the afternoon, temperatures are expected to rise to 28, that is for Kampala and Mubende. Masaka, we expect a maximum of 29, and Nakasongola, we expect a maximum of 29 with sunny intervals, while areas around the lake, we expect some showers. Eastern, Jinja, Tororo, we expect some showers at a maximum of 29, and then Soroti, we expect a maximum of 31 with sunny intervals. The western stretch, Kasese, we expect a maximum of 30 with scattered showers. Masindi, we expect a maximum of 29 with sunny intervals, and Kabale Highlands, we expect a maximum of 24 with scattered showers. In the north, we expect a maximum of 31 in most areas with sunny intervals. Elsewhere, Dubai, we expect sunny intervals at a maximum of 24. Nairobi, we expect sunny intervals at a maximum of 28. Cairo, we expect a maximum of 22 with sunny conditions. And London, we expect a maximum of 12 with rain. That's all we had for you from Uganda National Meteorological Authority. For more info, log on to our website as it is well displayed. Have a good night.
UBC, inspired.